Hey guys, I'm Stephanie Gonzalez, and welcome to the Slant. I'm here with Texans Fullback Andrew Beck.
Appreciate
Andrew,
you having
welcome.
me. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm too. And you just got done with training.
We did.
Right. So, what is a day in the life of Andrew Beck like? What is your typical day like?
Oh man, I wish it could be more exciting. I feel like I need more exciting things to tell you. I don't know. It's for me the key's kind of getting into a routine. So I try to keep our training days like Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I usually get here about 6:45 or 7.
Oh,
like
that's early.
quick breakfast into the tubs in the training room, and then start looking over what we have for the day, and then get ready for either lift on Wednesdays or Thursdays. We go right into meetings and kind of learn what the coaches have for us those days, and get ready to go do it on the practice field. We don't have much time from when we get it to when we have to apply it.
Yeah.
So being able to be locked in meetings is kind of key for me because it's like I took for granted when I was in middle school and I could like study and then have 7 days to get ready for the test. Yeah. Now we got like 15 minutes and they're like, all right, guys, good luck. We'll see you out there.
I love that.
So it's trying to keep it consistent and not get bored or into the rut of the routine, but make sure that I, follow my steps that I need to.
And you joined the Texans this year.
I did, yes, my first year.
What has this year been like for you?
For me, it's been unbelievable. You look at, where this organization was this time last year and what the new coaching staff and, all the guys that we brought in and the rookies who have been such a big part, what all they've been able to accomplish and we've been able to accomplish this year so far has I think really surprised some people. And it's, playing meaningful games this late in the year is really important to a lot of people. And obviously, in that locker room, we're some of those people. So, I guess that's kind of been the biggest thing for me is, I've really been enjoying it just because of, I think we've done a lot more than maybe people thought we could have.
Yeah.
Outside of the locker room. I mean, you look at the guys in the locker room and everybody, from OTAs, we were like, we're going to win the Super Bowl. This is it. But, now we've got some people outside the building believing too. And so, it's learning for young guys to balance that and older guys who haven't been, in this position in their career. Coach Ryan's has done a great job of like, hey guys, this is what it's all about. This is what we're doing is, we're playing so you can't plan a vacation yet. And I think that's kind of where we are and that's where we wanted to be. So it's exciting.
Oh, I love that. And we're all excited too. And we also have to talk about September 24th. What does that day mean? I love it. I was like, let's see what he says when I mention that date.
Is that the kick return?
Yes.
I guess, right? Yeah, that's what I figured it would be.
And I'm sure everyone has been asking you about it. And we're not, let's be honest, we're not tired of hearing about it. So
I appreciate that.
Take us back to that. What was that moment like? What was going through your mind?
Oh, man, it was unbelievable. Just looking back on it, it's definitely one of those memories I'll cherish for a long time. And, crossing the goal line, being in the end zone, turning around and see Brevin Jordan, who's a guy that I'm in the meeting room with every day, was the first guy there to celebrate. And then just the swarm of teammates that came down and coaches running down the sideline, like trying not to get flagged, but come down and celebrate with everybody. I think it was a really cool moment. And I think kind of just that game, it was early enough in the year, like it did a really good job of, we kind of came together as a team right around that game and then shortly there afterwards. And certainly not saying that had anything to do with it in general, but just kind of like feeling the response afterwards of like, hugging all my teammates and things like that stuff's important. That's one of the big reasons guys like playing this game is the team side of it, So I think that's what it'll always mean for me is like how cool it was to celebrate with everybody on the roster after that was really cool.
And that's what I was going to ask you, the aftermath. I'm sure a lot of phone calls. I'm sure the locker room went wild.
Yeah, and text messages from people that I haven't talked to in 20 years from moving around and things like that, but it was really cool. Yeah, absolutely a fond memory forever.
And it's fun to watch.
It is.
Anytime I watch a few of the clips and just the commentators, did that just happen?
Yeah, that's the best part, right? It's like, did we just see what we just saw?
Exactly.
That was one of my favorite ones. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, congrats. That was great. Very memorable. And I always like to also just kind of go back in time a little before all of this.
Okay.
Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Oh, man. So my dad's active duty military. So I lived 11 places before I went to college. So I was born in Kentucky, bounced around a bunch, and then finished high school in Tampa, Florida before I went to UT in Austin for college and was there for 5 years and a couple minutes maybe. And then I've been bouncing around. Signed with New England after college, then was in Denver for 4 years, and now I'm down here for this one and the next one. So hopefully a little bit longer, but yeah, I've been all over. Oh man, which is great, right? Because I've moved 11 different places. We were in Germany for 2 of them. We've been all over. But I've got, really good close friends all over that I can reach out to. So it has been kind of nice. Like we came back to college here, went to New England, then Denver, and then came back, and we still have college friends in Houston from UT that we've been hanging out with and reconnecting with and things like that. And it was kind of that my entire life, kind of growing up, moving around, reconnecting with people that we'd moved and then ended up moving back there, or the one thing you learn about the Army is how small the world is. So you'd move, and then 2 weeks later somebody else would move that you hadn't seen in 4 or 5 years, and they moved to get stationed in the same spot your parents are stationed in. So it was fun growing up. It was a different childhood than a lot of guys that I talked to, like Eric Saubert's another tight end, Dalton Schultz. A lot of those guys like grew up in the same spot, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to hang out with my high school buddies." I was like, "Oh man, what's that like?" But no, I wouldn't have changed anything about my childhood. Kind of growing up, I think it prepared me for this business, especially is the sudden moving and things like that. So I enjoyed it.
And how did football get into the mix? How did you begin playing with all the moving and all of that? Do you remember how you were introduced?
Yeah, so it was second grade. We lived in West Virginia, so we started playing full pad tackle football in second grade in West Virginia, which may or may not be a good thing. We can talk about that later. But so that was when we, before that it was like baseball and soccer, because my dad played soccer at West Point.
Nice.
So it was baseball and soccer, and then one of my best friend's dad was coaching the team, and my dad was deployed at the time, so he went to my mom and was like, "Hey, like, Andrew's got to come play football." So the deal was their son would play soccer with me one year, and then the next year I'd go play football. And it was a mess. Like my knee pads, we went out. My mom and I were trying to figure out the pads all together, so we had everything right, except like she put my knee pads on my butt cheeks and stuff like that. Like it was a mess. It was an absolute disaster the first time we did it. So he came sprinting across the parking lot to get me and like fix my uniform and everything like that. But that was where I got started and kind of played ever since then. And we used it as, because you work out summer going into fall. So it was always a great way to make friends before the school year started. So I always had at least 2 or 3 people that I knew going into the school year. So that was kind of what sports was to me, and that's why like the team camaraderie thing is so big to me now, because it was literally like your school lifeline going into the first couple of days. It was how you made friends and knew someone going in. So it was, like I said, the camaraderie side of it has always been huge to me, and I think that's what it goes back to.
With all the moving, would you say that football was your constant?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things for sure, right? Family's always going to be there, and that's been big for me. And even though my parents continue to move, we're still really, really close with them, and always will be, obviously. And then sports, it's kind of family, and then sports. It's what you knew. It's what was like you said, the constant everywhere you went. It's like, well, I know they'll play football in the fall, outside of like going to Europe, but. I was like, I know over here they'll play football in the fall, so kind of had to get good at that, because I wasn't really good at football until like my junior year of high school.
Oh, really?
I'd like to tell people I was a much better baseball player. I think it's just wishful thinking, but yeah, no, you're right. It was the constant that we kind of knew was going to be there and fell back on.
So you went to UT.
I did, yes, ma'am.
And now you're back in Texas.
Love it.
And you are in the NFL.
Unbelievable.
Playing for the Houston Texans. So what has this journey been like for you? What is that like, just being back here and playing,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's been a dream. I laugh all the time the fact that I, play in the NFL. And like, so after the game a couple weeks ago, we did the organization did a great job of bringing my dad down for the salute to service game and did a lot of stuff for him, which was really, really cool. And we got to be share a moment on the field together before that game kicked off, and we talked about it afterwards, and he and I both laughed like, hey man, like he's a 2-star general now. I'm going into my 5th year in the NFL. We were like, neither one of us really thought we would ever be in this position growing up. So that moment is something that we will always cherish. But yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because we had talked about that same thing.
And obviously family it means a lot to you, and your wifey, Hope Elizabeth, she's from here, right?
She's from just north of Houston. She's from the Woodlands, which I've learned is not technically Houston, even though I used to tell people that. But I guess for the sake of argument, we'll say, she's from the greater Houston area. Yes,
and what do y'all like to do here?
We're still kind of relearning the city. She's kind of teaching me a lot of stuff. I love restaurants and going to a couple different places. So we've been trying to like the must-eat spots that you have to go to. But we're excited for the off season where we kind of get to go around and like I love going to Astros games and things like that. So I feel like everybody in Houston does. So we've kind of been doing that and sightseeing and like running through, going to check out parks and things like that. Like we like being outside. So I feel like here's a good place. Coming from Denver, there's like 4 feet of snow on the ground sometimes. So we're kind of taking advantage of it. Yeah,
from Houston,
taking advantage of the warmth here. Yeah, exactly. Get to sit in the pool in December. It was really nice. But yeah, no, we were very excited to come back here. We kind of knew that Houston was going to end up being home base when I was done playing, and then we got the call to come down here, and it worked out perfectly. We get to fast track it and set up home base when we're done playing down here. So we're super excited. But love Houston and love being here, and excited to build a future here.
And the Astros. I mean, you mentioned baseball, so you're still a fan. You still love
am.
Baseball.
I watch the games. I'm like, I could totally do that. It's not true, but I tell
myself that. Are you like, put me in, coach?
Yeah, like we do the hypotheticals during we're sitting around eating, and they're like, if you had to face an MLB pitcher, how many balls do you put in play out of 100? And I was like 50, and they're like, yeah, MLB hitters won't even put 50 of them in. Yeah, I'm that guy. But no, still love going and enjoying it and pretending that I could run out there and do that.
I mean, well, absolutely. We have to do something with you and baseball.
Oh,
I mean, let's.
I don't know,
because
right now I could say that I can still do it. I don't need to prove myself wrong.
I love that. And for any aspiring professional athletes out there, what advice would you give them?
I think it's super cliche, but at the end of the day, you may not be the most talented or the biggest or the strongest or fastest, whatever, but you can always be the hardest working. And my dad kind of told me that, ad nauseum when I was growing up, and it became such a cliche for me. But the more I moved around and the more I saw it, like, it's true. There are always going to be people that are bigger, faster, stronger, but you can work harder than everybody else. And I think that's the biggest thing. And even at this level, like, if, you can be a crazy athlete, but if you don't work hard on the mental side of the game, you're not going to make it. And the same thing the other way around. There are really smart guys who just can't, that don't physically have it. But, if you have an ability to consistently work on every part of your game diligently, then I think you'll be successful. And that's, the guys that you see are successful, they kind of trace it back to that. So I think that'd be the biggest thing. It's just work ethic.
I love that. And what is the best advice that you've received?
Best advice I've received, as far as relating to the game, for me personally, it can't really apply it to everybody, but for me personally, it was always like have a short memory, because I'll make a mistake and hold on to it for 2-3 plays, a drive, the next series, the quarter, whatever. And you can't do it at this level anymore. You kind of, everybody knows when you've made a mistake or not. The ability to kind of flush it, move on to the next one, knowing that you'll correct it in film or in meetings and things like that. I think that's key, and that was the biggest piece of advice for me is short-term memory, because you can't just beat yourself up all the time. Short-term
memory.
I'm trying.
I like that.
I'm trying.
I'm going to steal that from you. It's hard. It's hard.
Is.
We're human.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to, you try to beat yourself up. Everybody thinks you have to be perfect. It's okay not to be, as long as you know what you did wrong.
Yeah. And you know what? I like that. I like that topic, because nowadays I like that we can talk about mental health and just, all of it's just back in the day, for me at least, I feel like not many people talked about it. So as an athlete, obviously you have to stay on, but how do you keep yourself sane through the ups and downs that life can throw at you?
Yeah, exactly. And you can apply it outside of sports too. Like life in general. Yeah, things aren't always going to go your way, but you can turn it around.
Yeah,
it's not too late.
I like that. And what is your goal for the remainder of the season?
Win the next 2. We got 2 games left. We got to win both of them to get where we want to go. So that's the goal, is, win this one, reset, come back, take care of the Colts, and then we're right where we want to be. So win. That's the goal. Win.
We were doing the math before you came in, so
does my math check out? As long as we win, we're good.
It does.
That's what they told us. So
yeah, we were doing it. Mark will tell us more about it.
Yeah, there we go.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And we do have one last thing, a little favor, if you can do for us. You said, "Oh no," I love this. So could you? I heard you're a great singer. Could you sing?
Oh, I'm kidding. Somebody told you wrong.
I'm kidding. Could you sign the wall for us?
Oh, please, my honor. Did you see my eyes? The pure fear when you said sing.
I tried to keep it going, but I couldn't do it to you.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'd love to. Can I just pick a spot?
You can pick a spot wherever you'd like.
Who we got? Right above Tank. That's a good one.
Yeah. Above Tank. Look at that.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
You're so much fun. We'll keep cheering you on. And thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.